Alright guys, I'm going to throw this up. The start of my Sheffield slaughter coverage. And the reason why I get in one of these videos is twofold really. So turning up on day one, I was running late in the morning, so I didn't turn up until round one was about 15-20 minutes in. Just caught up in traffic and various different things, kind of getting a little bit lost on the way to the venue. Like I went one turn in too early than I should, that sort of thing. Just little silly things led to me being sort of 30 minutes late, and I kind of missed the first 10-15 minutes of the round. And to that end, I was kind of flustered, kind of rushing, and it was kind of 50-50 decision to sort of, I forgot to get my camera out and take pictures, and also I didn't want to slow the game down anymore considering I was already sort of 15-20 minutes late. So that was game one, why I didn't get a battle report done. So it was kind of half and half, the fact that I didn't want to slow the game down anymore than I already had done, and I was kind of flustered and kind of just forgot to keep up with the pictures, that sort of thing. But we'll go into it anyway. Game one, did a little bit of pre-coverage in my preview video. I played a chap called Rupert Reed and his Demons, and it was a matchup that was heavily in my favour. Having all my points under the ban of the World Dragon. It was a game that really was mine to lose, and I think what I found from the game was, even though I banned the World Dragon, I was so worried about throwing all my points. Teclis, the Wizards, the Nobles, the White Lions, all my points were in that unit, and I was so worried about my dice abandoning me, or just crazy rolling, that I didn't push forward as hard as I should have done, and I kind of sat back and relied on banishment to get me the points, which it did. I got lots of points. I picked up both his skull cannons, his beasts, a unit of horrors here and there, harpies. I picked up a lot of chaff points. The trouble is, because I sat back and I wasn't aggressive enough, it meant he could get a lot of points off me in return. So basically what happened is we ended up playing out a pretty flat 10-10, where Rupert very smartly put everything in a corner, and got the points he knew he could get, and ignored my my big unit, and I just didn't push hard enough at him. And it's a lesson that I should have learned, and I should have known that with the banner, that matchup is so heavily in my favour. But combination of kind of being rushed and sort of hesitant to throw all those points at a big Plague Bearer block, just completely underestimated the power of the ban of the World Dragon, which it's something I shouldn't have done, and it's a mistake. Led to me getting a 10-10 out of a game that I probably should have won quite convincingly. And it's no disrespect to my opponent whatsoever. It's just the nature of the matchup. So I was quite disappointed with that. It wasn't until afterwards when I realised, I should have just pushed. If I had a push forward, I probably would have ground out his Plague Bearers. I had the magic. I'm better in combat. He wouldn't have been steadfast, and I would have just got through that unit fairly quickly, and I just didn't go for it like I should have done. But lesson learned, and we move on into game two, and I played a lovely guy called Dave Pyle and his Host of the Eternity King, but it was pretty much Dark Elves. He was just using Lariel, the Incarnate of Life, and she is awesome. She's really good. Basically, she gives every unit within 12 inches a 4+ regen save. So you can imagine, like a horde of witch elves and a big unit of executioners with regen. It's a pretty terrifying prospect to face against. Now the game was pretty cagey. Early on, he got the first turn, which will be a recurring theme for Sheffield Slaughter 2015, as I go second in every single game. But I'm not bitter about that at all. So Dave went first. He managed to pick up some kind of points that I just threw away, that I knew I was gonna lose. Like I put a bolt throw away out on one flank just for him to go and get, make him waste a turn or two going getting it. Reavers out on the other flank, that sort of thing. Just little chaff points that I knew he was gonna get, but it would keep him away from my main block in the middle for as long as possible. So that had, turn 1 and 2 went as expected. I lost my chaff points on the flanks. I was able to banish off his both his units of warlocks in turns 1 and 2, which was clutch for this matchup, because that was a lot of points, and they were gonna basically let him control the movement phase. So I had to get them off the board quickly, and I did. And the reason why I was able to is I had Curse of Anrahir and Flame Cage, and he couldn't afford either of those spells to be cast on his big blocks, because regen means nothing against Flame Cage and against Curse of Anrahir, and he would have just sized down his big units. And that's the power of Teclis right there, was being able to pick the exact spells that I need in that game is going to be so key, so key over the coming battle reports that you're going to see. Games 3 to 6, I do have battle reports for, so stay tuned for those afterwards. So turns 1 and 2 went as expected. He got the points I was willing to lose, and I managed to get back more points than he took off me with those points. So I'd lost sort of two bolt throwers and a unit of Reavers at this point, and I'd picked up 2 units of Warlocks. So I was up. We were looking 50-50. I had a plan to deal with his Witch Elves, and I had a plan to deal with his small unit of Blackguard that were bunkering Alariel in. And I had a plan I was going to execute, and I think I would have gone on to win the game. I honestly do. It would have been very close. It would have relied on a few things going in my favour, as it always does. But I had a very clear plan of what I was going to do. I had the magical combinations in place. And even with his regen, I had the spells to counteract that. I had the magical buffs necessary. I had like Flesh to Stone and all this sort of thing. And I knew how and when I was going to push forward and make my assault to get the points I needed for a small to medium win was what I was aiming for. Roll on Dave's turn 3. Like anyone playing against my list would, he 6 dices Dwellers below at my big unit, failed the Lookout Sir and Teclis, and he dies. Giving up 900 points under the compact, because it's the points for Teclis, points for the General, and then bonus points for breaking me. And from that point on, it was a 20-0 win to Dave all the way. He picked up Teclis, he picked up both my level 2 Light Wizards as well. I had pretty much half of the White Lions, in fact probably more than half. I rolled abysmally badly for strength tests. Lost half or more of the unit, and from that point on there was no way to come back. I lost my magic, I lost my my plan going forward. Excuse me, and I lost well over 1,000 points in models. So there you go. That's what happens. Actually, I'm going to jump back to game 1 real quickly, because there was a bit of a funny occurrence. Now, being a bit of a gamey bastard that I was, and abusing the rules as they're written and as they as they play out, I had the Forbidden Rod on one of my level 2s. Game 1, use the Forbidden Rod. Fine, get the 2 dice that I'm allowed to get from it. Take 2 wounds from the D3. Roll Snake Eyes for my ward save. So some people would say I deserve it. I would say that kind of sucks, but there you go. Jumping back to game 2, I just forgot to mention that about game 1 because it was kind of funny at the time. So game 2 I was really disappointed with, because it was set up to be really close. Even if I'd have gone on, executed my plan as I planned out, and it didn't quite work as I wanted it to, I wouldn't have gone down 20-0. It would have been a much smaller win. I would have pulled out a lot, more points from that matchup than what I should have done, which is going to be really important towards the end of the tournament. A few extra points is going to make a huge difference at the end. So, bear with me on that one. So yeah, after game 2, I kind of got what I deserved. At the time when it happened, I shrugged it off. I was expecting it to happen playing against Dwellers. It was always the risk. It was always going to be not the only way Dave was going to win, but certainly the one strategy that was going to guarantee him victory if it paid off, and it did. So fair play to him. And that's what you get. That's what you deserve when you take a Death Star like I did and you put all your points in one unit. Even with the Lookout Sir, it's not reliable. You can fail it. And when I did, Teclis died. So, kind of disappointed, but not too much because I got what I deserved. I took it on the chin. Went into game 3, which will be coming up in an actual battle report. And I honestly can't remember who did I play game 3. That's right. Yeah, game 3 was against Empire on a Karl Franz Ascendant list, which I was actually very very happy about getting this list in the scenario, because the scenario was the 2 tower scenario, which is basically Watchtower with 2 watchtowers as opposed to 1. A really really good scenario actually. Any TOs listening out there, a fantastic way of playing Watchtower, highly recommended. But basically the Karl Franz list I played against was Karl Franz, a steam tank, was yeah, just 1 steam tank, and then just cavalry. So he had like 2 small units of archers that could take the towers and nothing else. So that one's coming up next. I learned how horrifyingly powerful Karl Franz can be. So watch out for the butt hurt coming in the next battle report from Karl Franz, and stay tuned. And thanks for watching. And again, apologies for no battle reports for games 1 and 2. Just a combination of me being forgetful and kind of being flustered from turning up late on the day. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's awesome if you could do that, and put any comments below, any questions going forward about the 2 games, about my list, my opponent's list, anything like that. Stick them below, and I'll see you on the next one.